You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us this Thursday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Across the state tonight, the topic of grizzly bears front and center at a Helena summit today. We'll tell you what was learned. Plus, the race for Montana's governor's seat is heating up. We'll let you know who is out in front of the money race. But first, a second committee seeking to legalize marijuana introduces an updated draft ballot initiative. Another attempt to legalize marijuana in Montana. Well, it's a hot topic aiming for the November ballot, already driving debate across the state. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian looks at how this latest proposal differs from others.
Last week, a committee called Montana Can submitted a revised draft for a marijuana legalization ballot initiative to the Montana Secretary of State's office. It comes just over a week after another group, New Approach Montana, filed their own proposed initiatives. Montana Can leaders say they worked with current marijuana providers in Montana and advocates in other states to put together a draft.
I'm just trying to make sure that the cannabis community is represented and has another option.
One of the biggest differences between Montana Can's proposal and the other plan is in the minimum age to purchase and use marijuana. Montana Can would set the age to 18 instead of 21. Analysts believe the Montana Constitution would have to be amended in order to make the minimum age higher than 18. New Approach is proposing a separate initiative to make that change. Montana Can Executive Director Erica Ciate says the legislature can raise the age later if they choose.
Personally, I don't feel that the age change belongs in the Constitution, and I do believe that adults are adults at 18.
Montana Can's draft also sets a 5% tax on recreational marijuana sales, compared to New Approach's 20%. Ciate says a congressional proposal to decriminalize marijuana included a federal tax of 5%.
Which made me go, why are we looking at giving 3 or 4 times that to the state?
It will take more than 25,000 signatures for Montana Can's initiative to make the November ballot.
It's going to be a great discussion from here on out with the public, and that's what's exciting to me, is that the voters can decide.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Thanks, Jonathan. Now, leaders with a New Approach Montana, the group advocating the other legalization initiatives, say their polling shows Montana voters will only support legalization if the minimum age is 21. Well, if you'd like to grow hemp this year, now's the time to apply. The Montana State Hemp Program is now accepting license applications for the 2020 growing season. The Montana Department of Agriculture operates the program under authorities provided in the 2014 Farm Bill. State data shows Montana's hemp program grew from 58 licenses in 2018 to nearly 300 in 2019. The acres of land more than doubled last year to more than 50,000 acres, which makes Montana a leading state for hemp production. Now, the application fee is $850 and is due by April 30th. And if you'd like a sports wagering license in your Montana business, your business must serve alcohol. A lawsuit challenging the Montana Lottery on that requirement has been denied. Judge Kathy Seeley ruled against an injunction filed by a Billings-based investment group. That injunction would have stopped the lottery from issuing those sports betting licenses until the lawsuit was resolved. A Ready Group has already been granted a gambling operator license, but still argued against the need for alcohol. Now, the lottery says it's received hundreds of applications from businesses and is in the process now of reviewing them. Well, we have entered the 2020 campaign countdown and your complete coverage from MTN. Tonight, MTN's Mike Dennison talks money in the three-way Republican primary for governor, where it's coming from and who's giving it.
3 men are vying for the GOP nomination to run for Montana's open governor's seat. Attorney General Tim Fox, Congressman Greg Gianforte, and State Senator Al Olszewski of Kalispell. Already, the trio has raised a combined $2.2 million in campaign funds. The leader by far is Gianforte, with $1.4 million through the end of last year, followed by Fox with $566,000 and Olszewski at $229,000. Where's it all coming from? Although Gianforte and Fox have donors from around the country, they're both getting about 80% of their funds from Montanans. Gianforte is just getting a lot more, averaging more than $350 per Montana donation, while Fox is about $200 per donation. The employment profile of their donors is remarkably similar. Both are receiving substantial amounts of money from retirees and business owners and executives. Olszewski's campaign fund is fueled almost entirely by Montanans. All but $2,000 of his donations have come from inside the state. When it comes to in-state geography, Gianforte is killing it in his hometown of Bozeman and Gallatin County, the fastest growing area of the state. He's raised some $280,000 from the area, compared to only $31,000 for Fox and just $2,000 for Olszewski. The only city where Fox has outraised Gianforte is Helena, $95,000 to Gianforte's $52,000, and the only area where Olszewski has come close to holding his own is his home turf, Kalispell and the Flathead Valley. Olszewski has raised about $49,000 from Kalispell, Big Fork, and Whitefish, compared to $102,000 for Gianforte and $34,000 for Fox. Gianforte, a multimillionaire businessman, also has put about $72,000 of his own money into his campaign. But he's not the biggest self-funder of the bunch. That honor goes to Olszewski, an orthopedic surgeon who so far has pulled $102,000 from his own pocket to fund his campaign. So, what's it all mean? Do the candidates with the most money win? A lot of times, yes. And donors can be persuaded to get on what looks like a winning horse. But, as we said yesterday, in this race, there are many rivers to cross before it's all over in June. In Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. And coming up early next month, MTN will bring you a look at the other three-way contested primary for the race for governor, the Democratic primary. Well, Cascade County authorities are now pulling in multiple resources from several agencies to help find 34-year-old missing Great Falls woman. Now, the Sheriff's Department won't specify what exactly those agencies are, stating they don't want to compromise the investigation. They do tell us tonight the search for Amy Harding Perman continues. Harding has been missing since Sunday night when authorities say she fled her house after an argument with her boyfriend. And an East Helena man allegedly stabbed his grandmother nearly a dozen times in an argument over paying bills. The victim is now in serious condition. 21-year-old Maurice Austin is charged with attempted deliberate homicide. Police responded to the home last night in East Helena after the victim called 911 saying her grandson attacked her. Authorities say they found Austin with blood on his hands and forearms. Court documents state Austin told detectives they were arguing about paying bills. The victim was initially treated in Helena but had to be flown to Great Falls. Now, Austin is held on $50,000 bond and must complete a mental health evaluation before entering a plea. Well, given the rising number of grizzlies, wildlife experts across Montana are trying to improve bear education and outreach. Now, those experts, along with educators and nonprofits, wrapped up a two-day summit in Helena today. Fish, Wildlife and Parks spokesperson Greg Lemon says the summit delivered some great takeaways, such as working to create an online clearinghouse of grizzly information. Experts estimate more than 1,800 grizzlies live in the greater Yellowstone and northern Continental Divide ecosystems, which make up Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. Lemon says education is one of the best tools to cut back on future conflicts.
Bear distribution and bear density is increasing in Montana, and today anywhere in the western half of the state, people need to be aware that they're in grizzly bear country.
And an update tonight after a coyote attack in Yellowstone National Park this week. Park officials say the animal has tested negative for rabies. The coyote attacked and bit a woman on Tuesday when she was skiing in the Canyon Village area on the Grand Loop Road. The 43-year-old was taken to the Canyon Visitor Center and treated for lacerations and puncture wounds to her head and arm. The coyote was later tracked down and killed. Well, a popular book published last fall is now flying off the shelves. We Leave the Flowers Where They Are is a compilation of 41 essays, all written about different women throughout the state of Montana. One of those women is Chelsea Rice, co-owner of the Montana Book Company in downtown Helena. Rice, along with 40 other women, were part of a memoir writing class taught by Richard Field, a Missoula author who published the book. Chelsea says she is proud to be a part of this experience, and the true stories are something everyone could learn from.
Wonderful. I'm so happy that people are interested in hearing women's stories, and there's a vast amount of experience in there, from severe trauma all the way to connecting with nature through courage and strife and challenge. I don't think we always have to go to well-published writers in order to find meaningful stories. In fact, I think common people have very important stories to tell.
Now, the book is only sold at independent bookstores and cannot be purchased online. Well, it's been almost 3 months since a Flathead Valley girl was severely injured after being struck by a vehicle while getting off the school bus. But as 6-year-old Jordanna Hubble recovers at a Houston hospital, her family is sharing this encouraging update.
Come on, keep coming. Come on, cool. That was great. I am so proud of you, girl. You did wonderful.
Jordanna has made significant progress at Nexus Children's Hospital, which has a program to help treat the traumatic brain injury she suffered when she was hit. Last week, doctors reported she was in a minimally conscious state, and her family says they're optimistic about her treatment. They stress, however, her condition remains critical. So far, no charges have been filed in this case. Still to come on your 9 o'clock news, we meet a Montana family who has spent more than 2 decades lifting winter enthusiasts to the top of Whitefish Mountain. But first, how's the weather looking, Bob?
Well, Jeanelle, it was a very weak weather disturbance that moved through eastern Montana this morning, brought a little rain and snow showers, but that is now since gone. Out in the west, it's a new high-pressure cell and windy and warm conditions moving in. We'll talk more about that coming up after the break.